Introducing Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. We spend more time with our phones than ever, and yet they're not designed to be held comfortably. But now, with the elegant back curve of the S7 and the streamlined front and back of the S7 Edge, both nestle perfectly into the palm of your hand. They feel smaller and thinner with smoother edges and sleeker lines, but the screen size is still the way you like it. Big and immersive. A true marvel of engineering. It's as beautiful to look at as it is to use. We've also redesigned the S7 with memory that expands, because we know you love file-hungry movies, music, and games. Here's the Vulkan API for the most realistic mobile gaming possible. 4 gigabytes of RAM to keep all your tabs open. And a longer lasting battery to keep you going all day and beyond. Our phones go everywhere with us, except in water. Well, until now. Even in the rain, the shower, or the pool. Open up a new world to use it in. The S7 has a phone camera that uses the technology found in professional cameras. 100% of the pixels are used to focus, and every single one works just like our 2 eyes, which means you have autofocus in a split second. And you can shoot in the dark and own the night, because some of our most precious memories happen in the dark. Not only can you leave your camera at home, leave your wallet too. Samsung Pay is safe, simple, and accepted virtually anywhere you can swipe or tap your card. So travel light, and with Knox Security, worry-free. The new S7 redefines how you can use a phone. But what really breaks the boundaries of what a phone can do is a completely new way to share memories. Now you can record your life with the 360 camera, preview it on your phone, and then simply load it into your VR headset. Imagine, this simple 5-inch phone is now your personal 360 cinema screen. You define the possibilities. And
upcoming specs and features. The Xiaomi Redmi 3A has been certified in China by TENAA, which is the country's equivalent to the FCC in the States. According to the documentation, the Redmi 3A will feature a 5-inch display with a 720 by 1280 HD resolution. Driving the phone will be the Snapdragon 435 chipset, which carries an octa-core 1.4 GHz CPU, and the Adreno 505 GPU. 2 GB of LPDDR3 RAM is inside along with 16 GB of native storage. A 13 megapixels camera adorns the back of the unit, while a 5 megapixels camera in front shoots selfies and handles video chats. Also on the back of the device is a fingerprint scanner, and Android 6.0.1 is pre-installed. We left out the battery for now, because the word out of China is that this phone will be priced at the equivalent of $91.23, and at that price, we wouldn't expect to find the 4000 mAh battery that keeps the Redmi 3A running. The Redmi 3A will apparently be available from the largest carrier in the world, China Mobile. The wireless operator says that the Redmi 3A will support VoLTE.
Xiaomi's Redmi Note line of smartphones has generated a serious name for themselves by offering incredible price-to-performance ratios. So without further ado, let's get straight into the review of the Redmi Note 4. So So the Redmi Note 4 actually comes in two models, and the one you're seeing here is the Redmi Note 4 Pro, which costs approximately $40 more than the standard model. Either way, the build quality far surpasses the price you pay for it. Xiaomi has seriously upped their game since the previous Redmi Note 3. They've introduced chamfered edges, and it just has a more solid feel all round. The slight curves on the sides make it palm quite nicely, and while the design is verging a tad on the unoriginal side, it does look clean, minimalist, and is a step in the right direction. So under the hood is where things get really interesting with the Redmi Note 4 Pro. So we've got the Helio X20, which is a deca-core CPU that has 10 CPU cores, and all of them are active at once. Combine this with 3GB of RAM, and the Redmi Note 4 is by far the most powerful Redmi Note smartphone to date. In terms of UI performance, it absolutely flies, and the same can be said for pretty much anything else. Now it's easy to get carried away here, but even though it has 10 cores, this is not as powerful as smartphones like the Galaxy S7 Edge, even though those things have less CPU cores. Having said that, even though it's not quite the pinnacle of gaming performance, it's very, very fast, and it'll pretty much run every game as you'd expect it to, with a minimum of 30 frames per second. And it goes from strength to strength, because the Redmi Note 4's display is great. It's got a 1080p resolution, and with a 5.5-inch screen size that gives you a PPI of 401, which is pin sharp. It looks very, very crispy. On top of that, the colors and the saturation are really high. The display really pops, and MIUI doesn't quite do that justice because it has very pastel looking colors, but I have to tell you, playing games, watching movies, and it's a very enjoyable viewing experience, there's no denying it. In terms of software, things get a little more dicey. We're running Android 6.0, not 6.0.1, and there's no word on a 7.0 update. We've also got MIUI 8, which has pretty much the same advantages and disadvantages as MIUI 7. It's slicker than ever, but still a little bit childish, and to be honest, whilst it's not terrible, I would recommend a third-party launcher. So when I took this smartphone out of the box, I started getting really excited because I saw two speakers. Unfortunately, there is only one, the other one is a microphone, but it produces a full sound with a noticeable amount of bass. Vocals sound great, and so do games and movies. Whilst every Redmi Note smartphone has had insane power for the price you pay, there's always been some room for improvement in the camera department, and I'm happy to say that the Redmi Note 4 has taken some steps in the right direction. Macro shots are now starting to look very crisp, and with an f2.0 aperture you do get some decent bokeh effects. The shutter speed is faster than average for the price, it handles colour and contrast really well, and even HDR scenarios with surprising ease. Moving into indoor scenarios and even ultra low light environments, the Note 4 still manages to hold up that crispiness, which I think should be applauded. The camera is slightly less impressive when there's no real focal point, and the photos do tend to have a slightly blue tinge to them. But on the other hand, the 5MP front camera produces a really clear output, so overall the camera experience has improved a lot, and it gets better. In fact, a lot better, because the capacity of the battery on this thing is 4100 mAh, and that's massive. To give you an idea, I spent pretty much one whole day downloading apps, playing games, browsing the internet, and then I left the phone overnight, woke up the next morning, and it was still on 37%. The fingerprint scanner feels every bit as fast as it does on my S7 Edge, and we've also got support for microSD cards up to 128GB. So guys, that is it. That is the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4. I've been super excited to review this phone, and it did not disappoint. It takes everything that the Xiaomi Redmi Note 3 did and improves on it in many ways, and whilst it hasn't quite reached that pinnacle of perfection, Xiaomi has raised the bar for what we expect from a budget smartphone. So if you've managed to make it this far through the video, then thanks a lot for watching, I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, then a like would go a really long way, and if you subscribed, that would just be amazing. With that being